Hi everyone! Today I am excited to introduce you one of our funded trader, Kosta. He's currently trading on a $100K account and he reached his second payout and made $7,000 in just 7 days. In one moment, Kosta will join us and share with us his insight from his trading journey and give us some tips for traders that are just starting. Can you share with our traders a brief overview of your trading background and how you got into funding trading and how you got into the crypto trading, all of that?
Sure. Well, regarding the background, basically, I don't have any formal background. I just, got introduced into crypto like 2017, I guess. And at first, I didn't have any trading background whatsoever, but someone pointed out that crypto exists, basically.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying some. I ended up buying some Bitcoin and then some Ethereum, and then I discovered altcoins, and then that basically didn't end well.
Altcoins.
Exchanging Bitcoin for altcoins and back and forth, and basically losing money.
It's a little bit gambling, right? Yeah.
So I ended up losing quite a fair amount in the beginning, and then for better or worse, I have discovered that there is such a thing called futures trading, and the first platform that I discovered was BitMEX. And so whatever was remaining of my portfolio, I converted everything to Bitcoin and basically deposited that to BitMEX and started doing inverse perpetuals. So basically Bitcoin-backed futures trading.
Yeah.
And I had zero understanding of what I was doing. So just basically I felt, now it's just went up a bit, so maybe I go short, or now it went down a bit, so maybe I go long, And obviously with this strategy, I actually, like everybody else, I made a couple of profitable trades, believed in myself.
Yeah, that gives you the courage, I feel like, risking more and all of that.
Yeah, and then it didn't end well. Obviously, I ended up losing everything, yeah. That was the beginning, and then I took a break for a couple of years, and then I decided to give it another try, and I basically started watching a bunch of YouTube videos on trading and learning about indicators and all that, and still not really successful with any of the trades, but eventually I came across this one strategy basically based on order book analysis, and actually when I found out about it and when it was explained, I felt like that's exactly what I need. Okay. And I ended up learning that, signing up so I'm using trdr.io, a platform that has their own proprietary indicators, all related to the order book. And basically, if you set it up correctly, it generates quite good data to analyze and quite good signals actually to enter longs and shorts on reversal. It basically tells you when either the buyers or the sellers are getting exhausted, so you can look for a reversal entry. Yeah, and then with this strategy, I had actually amazing results. Yeah, and a little bit too amazing. So I ended up making from $10,000. I made $250,000.
Whoa.
And
with this strategy, what year was it?
In a couple months. That was 2019, I guess. 2019,
okay.
2020, something 2019.
I just wanted to ask if you like that type of strategy, order,
Yes,
that,
I'm still using it. After that,
I would be using it as well with those results.
And I actually I've tried many other strategies since, and this one is the most reliable that I have so far, but it only works for Bitcoin. It doesn't work for anything else.
Oh, okay, I see.
So the data for other coins is unreliable. The order book is too thin for other coins. There's not enough volume for this to be meaningful enough. Yeah, so it's to give you false signals and not be correct too many times. Yeah. So the win ratio won't be good enough. So actually, like trading Bitcoin, if you trade crypto, I think is the most reasonable.
Makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
that was such a good
So
answer.
yeah, so basically, then I continued. Then I ended up, I didn't withdraw anything, so I just wanted to go for, wanted to keep going, and ended up losing this whole thing, and because I just got overconfident, and basically when the euphoria kicks in, it's
So did you like over leverage, or like what was the reason why you lost all those
just
profits?
over position size way too big. Yeah, so like not because when you trade and trade and trade for months and you keep winning, but then it moves like 3% up, 5% down, okay, 10% up, and all of a sudden there is a week 30% down, right? So you're just not mentally prepared for that ever, right? Even when you remember about this, it's still like it's really easy to get liquidated. So you like enter a position and you have like, let's say, 20% buffer, so your liquidation is like 20% away, but then it wicks down 30% and you're gone.
Oh my day. So you were basically risking 20% in just one trade, if you like in those like
well, it's probably more because but again, the thing is like so the way it works with the strategy, like it kind of signals you either the bottom or the top. So for example, like signals the bottom, and then you like enter whatever 3%, 5%, and then like it's going down. So you keep adding to the position, like averaging your entry, right? Thinking it's gonna like bounce anytime, and it usually does, like 19 out of 20 times, but like this one time when it doesn't, then you basically gotta be ready for that, and so I've learned to you either don't risk that much, so that your liquidation is like at least 40-50%, I guess, away from the current entry, and then or stop loss.
Definitely, stop loss is the most important thing. Sometimes like with a flash crash and something like that, it's not 100%, but still, stop loss always. Amazing, that was such a good answer. Also, like the background, I know you were telling me about that before, and I'm just like still amazed because I'm the person who started with the crypto in 2020, so this is always like so much lessons and experiences from that time. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little about the evaluation process. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was fairly good. So this is relatively new to me. Like I got funded on another platform like just before that, but they have different rules, right? And then I've discovered HyroTrader, and HyroTrader basically has
per trade. That's something that most
a bit more rules. Let's say that than that other platform.
Definitely.
And basically it was fine. Yeah. So what I really like about Hyro, first of all, that you use API to trade on ByBit, that you don't have like your own terminal, because most other platforms that do have their own terminal, obviously it can't be as good as an exchange, because exchange they spend like tens of millions of dollars to develop that, so no like proprietary prop firm terminal can be even remotely close to the functionality and also the speed of ByBit. So this is like, for me, that's really important. Definitely. Second of all, you get access to all trading pairs that are on ByBit, as opposed to like another prop firm. If they're using their own terminal, then whatever pairs they got, you gotta trade those pairs. Then you get volume of ByBit, because if, for example, a prop firm relies on their own terminal and their own volume, sometimes the sleepage is just insane. You place a market order and it just wicks. Like if you're not Bitcoin but something else, it just wicks in the opposite direction, and you end up
losing
at a loss immediately, basically.
I know that pain. It's so bad, especially like you trading altcoins.
You enter a trade with a loss, with a guaranteed loss, and that's just like that's not cool. And so that's, for me, this is really like one of the key points about Hyro.
So and what was the challenging?
Regarding rules, basically, So it took me like several attempts to pass the evaluation, and the first time I failed. Basically, this I want to tell everyone. Yeah, it was my own fault. Was because I didn't read the rules properly, right? So I just read. So I didn't read all of the risk management rules, but I only wrote what was like on the. I read what was on the surface in the dashboard, which is 5% daily drawdown and then 10% overall drawdown. But I was not aware of the maximum risk of 3% per trade. So you basically cannot lose more than 3% in a trade. And I did lose that on my first evaluation because I did set a stop loss, but it was like at 4%, not at 3%, because I just simply wasn't even aware of that.
Fees.
And that was upsetting, but I basically had no one else to blame for that but myself. Yeah. So then, with the next evaluation, I was more careful, but I still failed. And then the next one, I think I passed, and it took me exactly 10 days to pass stage 1. So you guys have a 10-day trading rule. I actually passed it in 9 days, and then on the 10th day, I just made a trade just to qualify for the. On the 9th day, I made enough profit, a little bit over the requirement, so that on the 10th day, I just made a losing trade, and I still qualified trading day.
That's so funny, actually, because some of our traders who have like a big profit and they're like missing trading days, you can actually do that because we just need that like 5% capital and like 1 or like minus 1% of that P&L of that trade. So in that.
So I basically entered a trade, a random trade, and I said take profit at 1% and stop loss at 1%, and that's it. One of them got executed. And
it's just like that's what we need for the track record, nothing else.
Yeah, and then the stage 2 was actually I found stage 2 to be more difficult than stage 1.
Interesting.
Just
why do you think was it?
Just emotions wise, because you're like in a rush to get it done. Basically, you wanna like you're already like almost there, and I find this is like the most dangerous for me. I always end up, not always, but like often end up making a loss when I'm near some certain like target. So for example, if a target is 5,000, like 5%, and I'm at like 4,500, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna make that last 500 today, and then I end up entering where I shouldn't be entering, and then I end up losing much more than I was planning to win,
It's probably not the trades that you would usually take, like not that like high probability.
So that for that reason, like stage 2 took me a little bit longer. Like I think I also spent about 10 days doing step 2, but finally I got it done.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's really like valuable like tip that like traders should read all of the risk management and all of the links that we have, because there is like a table. And it seems like really easy, 10%, 5%, but it's so much different if it's based on equity, if it's like realized or unrealized panel. So that's like, especially for
so it's actually this speaking of unrealized, like the one thing that I find really difficult about Hyro's rules is that the daily drawdown is calculated from
unrealized.
How you call that?
Unrealized.
Like from like unreal, from basically from like the daily high point, which is basically it can be unrealized profit. So if I'm this sometimes make it like really challenging to know where exactly where your limit is, And also I find that so for example, like if I set a stop loss at like just under 3%, for example. So for example, like 2.7%, but then the trade goes in profit temporarily, and then it goes back and hits my 2.7% stop loss. Well, actually, it depends. It still will be within the 5% daily drawdown. But like for example, if I made 3% unrealized profit and I was sleeping, and I didn't take profit, and then it went back, hit a stop loss. it's possible to actually
get flag for the fail. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly,
for this
right?
type of stuff, because like basically it's calculated from the maximum to like
Yeah.
your minimum of the day. So this is something that like it's best just to check on your dashboard. If you are like,
Yeah.
I don't know, let's say you have like 100K account, if you are like from
No, I understand,
you know,
but I'm
it's
just
just
saying
like
this
the
is,
dashboard,
you
and
know,
also
like I would of course much prefer if that was just like the other platform that I'm funded on. They just do like balance at the start of the day,
yeah,
and
I
then
know
from
what you
that they
mean.
calculate daily drawdown.
Yeah,
Yes, it
that
doesn't
one
matter
is
what your
easier. I
daily
yeah.
up is. If you're up daily 5,000, then you can lose 10,000 basically. You know,
Yeah,
so of course that's much easier as a trader. You know,
yeah,
so.
definitely. You don't need to like keep an eye on the dashboard so much.
Mhm.
And it's just like since we are funding with the real funds, that's the we don't like to see that like big
Yeah,
volatility. And sometimes
sure.
traders are just like targeting a big profits like 10% and all of that, which we are
Yeah.
okay with. But if we see like 7 or like 8% of the drawdown, that's something that we don't really like to see because we are
Yeah.
coming
So
from the
on the other hand,
uh-huh.
like it makes you really disciplined, you know. So actually, maybe this is the type of discipline that like you're missing when you're trading with your own money,
Definitely. It's teach
you
you,
know.
yeah.
So I find that because it's like it's hard rule, right? So you can't not follow it, right? If you don't follow it, you basically get disqualified and you lose your account, right? So you know that, and then like you're absolutely forced to follow it no matter what. If you have FOMO or euphoria, it doesn't matter. You know, you still
Yeah.
have to follow it.
It
And
just
so that actually that is good. You know?
yeah, that's true. I feel like with our rules, so many traders learn like proper risk management. And I can see like why you mentioned in the daily drawdown can be like so challenging. And I like for starting like traders, I have like 2 tips. Adjust your stop loss if the trade is going so up, and maybe take partial profit. That's like the two
Yeah.
things
Oh, for
that
sure.
can
For sure.
save you. Like that's the top 2 things that like yeah that will save you before the failing. Yeah. I really like that you have mentioned it because that's true. Like so many other pro firms have it like so easy, and you know it doesn't really teach you the proper risk management. Amazing. Okay. So you have a little bit spoke about your trading strategy already. So is it still same, or did it
Yeah, it's
develop?
same.
Yeah.
It's same, but I mean, of course, I have other things that
Setups.
I'm using, trend lines, momentum indicators, obviously, and everything, RSI and whatnot. Yeah, but like, of course, I'm looking for, when everything is telling the same story, then like that's the more the better.
Yeah, I like that as well. Yeah, if more tools like showing the same direction or something like that. Yeah, that's perfect. That's amazing. Yeah. So you have already mentioned like your risk management and how was it during the evaluation. So that's amazing. So what about the like? Did you have any specific rules for our evaluation, like comparing with others, or was it just like 3% like maximum? It was just like just following the rules that are stated, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's once you do it for a couple of days, and then like, okay, it's no problem. It's
amazing. That's good. So trading can be emotional. So how did you how did you manage your emotions during the evaluation phase? Which as you mentioned, like during first like phase, it was okay. The second phase was more challenging, but you have also reached the third phase. So can you see like any differences between those like phases and how emotions are like?
Yeah, I think like now that I'm trading live, it's actually the best, because I feel trading live for me is easier.
Okay.
Because it's real money, right? So when I'm trading demo, it's like
it's nothing.
I'm inclined to take bigger risks, because I just want to pass it quicker, and I'm only risking my
just the challenge.
Like whatever the participation fee.
Yeah.
So like the risk is really low, and so it doesn't really like it doesn't feel real, right? It doesn't feel like you're trading for real. So it just feels like you're just playing, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so as a result, I found it more difficult to trade demo account than to trade like real account, you know? Because with real account, I feel, okay, I'm much more responsible with the real account, and I observe, you know, the rules much stricter, you know?
That's so interesting. For me, it was opposite actually. I felt more pressure when trading the real capital because I was like, okay, this is the real money, and it was just more pressure on me, which I was like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it's more pressure, but like, so it's more, it makes you more responsible in a way, you know?
Definitely. Plus, there is that motivation of like payout and all of that.
Correct, exactly. So that because you really like don't want to go and do the evaluation all over again.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna take another maybe 1 month, you know, something like this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I feel like you have already answered that question, but maybe you can just like give us 1 or 2 tips. So what advice would you give to traders who are considering joining a funded trading like program or starting their like trading journey right now? So recommending basically to traders to purchase maybe smaller account and then just like, scale it up. Amazing. So I feel like you have already answered on all of my questions that I have prepared here. So just the last question. So how was your experience with the HyroTrader and like getting your first payout?
Yeah, that's smooth. Basically, I managed, I think, again, the target was 5% for the first payout. So I've managed to achieve that in about a week from getting funded. So I submitted a request, and I think next day I got a payout. So
yeah, that's amazing. You did it really fast, not really fast, but like I feel like so many traders can like go from 0 to like 10K in just like 1 month, 30 days. They don't need too many because even for payouts, it didn't take more than like 7 days for first to pay out. So that's really like, that's really good. So what are your goals for now? Because I feel like, you're getting your
my goals. So look, I've been researching your system and your scaling up possibilities, and that looks really interesting. And basically, I want to be successful with this, and I want to scale up to your maximum account size, basically. So hopefully I can do this for a long time, consistently, and eventually scale up to be to manage a large account with you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, I really like that. So thank you for the not question, for the answers that you answered to me during the interview. Amazing.